12 new celebs, a shorter series, and a global pandemic. It's already September. This means it must be time for the Keep Dancing podcast. Hello and welcome to the Keep Dancing podcast, and I'm your host Ellie, and I am joined by tonight a full complement of podcasters. I'm joined by Anne.
Hello.
Meg.
Hello.
Elliot.
We're back.
Vikki.
Hello.
And Millie. Oh, and Millie, who is muted. And Millie.
Hi.
Oh, there's no need to be like that. So thank you if you stuck with us during lockdown for our increasingly surreal and political podcast series on the sewing bee. Well, we're gonna there will still be some frock chat, but we will be back to mainly the dancing. In fact, let's just go straight to talking about the dancing. Right. New celebs, new series, starting a bit late. Who are you excited for?
Bill Bailey.
Nicola.
Yeah.
Meg, right. Okay, we'll have some non-Nicola discourse to start off with. Meg.
Why?
Why are we excited about Bill Bailey?
Because I never in my wildest dreams thought I would be watching a series of Strictly with Bill Bailey in it. It just seems too surreal.
Yeah, this is something that these unprecedented times have made possible, which in an ordinary year, Bill Bailey would basically be continuously touring. He is no longer continuously touring for the duration of coronavirus restrictions, and so he can now grace our screens. And I can't even imagine.
Well, I'm optimistic. I don't think he's going to win, but I mean, he is a man who apparently has perfect pitch, and he's extremely musical.
Perfect pitch is not the same as the groove, though, is it?
I know it's not, but you know, he's quite an active comedian.
I would say that his most strictly aligned attribute is the physical comedy.
Yes, and he has apparently been Michael Bolton on Stars in Your Eyes, 1982.
Career longevity for both of them. So, Meg's excited about Bill Bailey. Shall we do somebody else before we get into Nicola?
Oh, I'm excited for Clara, actually. Clara Amfo.
Oh, yes, Clara.
She's bloody fabulous, though, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a Radio 1 stalwart who I think Clara would be looking to make the jump to doing lots of TV work. And this is probably how she's going to do it.
She reminds me a lot of Chizzy, like with her attitude and her personality. And she does have her own podcast, so, one of us. Yay.
Oh, of course she does.
One of us.
Emily, who are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to Caroline Quentin.
Okay, why?
I've just always liked her. She's been in a lot of things that I enjoy, and I think it's going to be fun. I think she'll throw herself into it. I hope she's not going to be treated as a comedy contestant.
Well, we've got 3 slightly older women in the cast, and traditionally Strictly's only really got 2 stories for older women, and one of them is that you are a joke and Anton will rinse you, and the other one is that you get your groove back. Do you think that we're going to find another story?
I do hope so. I hope that they show what we were hoping for. What we got for Debbie McGee, which was less of the I've got my groove back, although there was an element of that, where what we were really seeing was a competent dancer excelling, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, more Debbie McGee's. Let's just talk briefly about people who aren't Nicola Adams. Jason Bell.
I know he's an American footballer, and American football's got quite popular in the UK in the last few years, and the BBC showcase a few matches at Wembley.
Yeah.
That's as far as my knowledge goes with them throwing the ball and stopping every 2 seconds. I don't get it.
And isn't he
a podcaster?
Yeah, he's like everybody on Strictly is already a podcaster.
And isn't he? Is he or was he Nadine's other half?
Yes, that's
So he's a wag. So he's like the opposite of a wag, whatever that is.
A wag? No.
Yeah, a wag. Wags. No, not that.
Confused with a whap.
Husband.
You'd be like a bat, wouldn't you? Or a hab.
Husbands and boyfriends.
He's a hab. Which is a nice
But he's an
spin on things.
ex-hab. He's an ex-hab.
Yes.
We've got another person who I've got in my list as Max Wanted, because we only use the Smash Hits naming convention for people who've been in boy bands. And I've got him down as pop star, brackets male, and young lad, even though none of the Wanted are technically young lads anymore.
No,
that's scary, isn't it?
I know.
I was doing my research on him, and 2 things jumped out. He looks a lot like the lead from Prison Break, and I can't remember his name. Is it Wentworth Miller?
Wentworth
The
Miller.
lead from Prison?
Oh,
yeah, looks a lot like him.
Yeah.
And I now can't unsee it. And he's a massive name dropper. He kept mentioning like Jason Derulo and Meghan Markle in his interviews, and I was like, why?
Has Max been to America?
Yes, he went out. He went out there and did acting, and he was in Glee. And apparently, he played the role of an arrogant sod very well.
Oh God, was he in the series of Glee where people weren't watching no more?
I think it was Series 6. He was part of a rival Glee club, and he was just basically, the jock who can sing, and he was just a bit dismissive and rude. And according to my friends who watched Glee, because I haven't, apparently he played that role very well, but is a bit anonymous.
Oh.
I'm getting very anonymous from his one show interview.
Yeah, there was a real competition winner vibe from him popping out of a lift and talking to his nan.
I wonder if they've only got him in because they want Jay to pop up.
Yeah. How
think
he
it's good
appears.
Look,
in
Jay
these COVID times.
Jay will send some supportive tweets, maybe a video message in the final, and that's as much as you want. The jive will not be reprised.
But it's been long enough since his jive that if they could use that music again, but could you imagine?
Oh God, if you lost or if you went out on that.
Oh. Right, anyway, let's move on. Ranveer Singh from Good Morning Britain.
I'm not really satisfied with her as the token GMTV / newsreader seat. I don't think she's. I don't know. I'm just not as familiar with her. I don't know anything about her personality-wise. I'm sure she's delightful. I'm getting sort of, how like when Naga Chetty did Strictly, like she just totally didn't enjoy it. I just feel like there might be that kind of bad vibes from her. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
It's going to be, where is my very nice, moderately expensive tailored suit, rather than.
Yeah,
well,
possibly
she has said that she felt complete terror at the idea of taking part, which does not bode well.
Oh gosh.
Well,
yeah, it doesn't ever work well when they're kind of like backed into a corner. But I feel that the Anton, she's the Anton component of the series, because I think from what I've looked at, Caroline and Jackie are a bit too tall or short. I can't remember one of them.
And feisty.
Yes.
Well, good luck to her.
Good
luck.
She's a bit of a wild card because GMB presenters haven't done well. Richard Arnold, Charlotte Dawkins, like none of them have done massively well. But she is only the only one from the Northwest. I think that she's from Preston.
Yeah.
And obviously they really get behind like their people. There's a lot of support for Catherine and Kelvin last year, so she could get further than we anticipate. Yeah, and Gemma. So the North really get behind. One of their own. So she could go a little bit longer than we expect. But if she's with Anton, I just feel sorry for her already.
Doesn't she present something that Kate Garraway's on? Am I thinking?
They're both in Good Morning Britain, so...
She's done Loose Women as well.
That's like a former Strictly person.
Yeah, I mean, like, in any year, it's a big imposition to do Strictly, but this year, with, I'm assuming that it means you can't necessarily do your day job in the same way that you would normally do it.
Well, I mean, they're saying that they can go home to their families every night, so...
Oh, crumbs.
Oh, are we just not having a virus anymore? I see.
Apparently, the dancers are confined in a hotel for 2 weeks to film group dances, but,
Okay.
yeah, who knows? I don't know how they do.
Are they just going to like sleep in their spare room for 3 months?
Oh God.
My favorite
Practice for
setup.
when the affair starts.
My favourite setup was the Fame Academy thing, where everybody's in big dorms.
Oh,
and
I wanted
just
that so bad.
Let the bed hopping commence. Anyway, onwards.
Oh Lord.
Representing Scotland, BBC presenters and parasports, it's JJ Chalmers.
I think he could be a dark
nothing
horse.
of him,
Yeah.
but I'm interested to see how he goes.
I
Same.
think
He'll be competitive.
he's going to be quite interesting and maybe a little bit earnest. Probably not as earnest as Jason Bell, but quite earnest. He does a lot of the religious programming in Scotland, as well as military interest and parasports interest. And people have said he's very charismatic. So we'll just see whether or not the dancing takes off, I guess.
Yeah.
Do we know what his disability is and like how it can affect him?
One eye, burst his eardrums.
He's got lots of different...
Destroyed his right elbow, blew off 2 fingers on his left hand. And
So
left
basically
holes in his
everything that-
legs.
Yes.
So your balance, your hold, your tie,
Yeah.
everything that can affect you in dancing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting.
It's gonna be,
Yeah.
and like part of the inclusive part of dancing is working out how to make adaptations and accommodations to allow him to excel just as well as everybody else.
Yeah.
Yep. Like that excellent dance troupe they had on a couple of years ago.
Yes.
I still watch that one on YouTube. It's so good.
In other people who aren't Nicola Adams news, Maisie Smith from EastEnders.
She seems nice.
I have no idea. Like
No idea.
No, I'm aware that EastEnders is back for what they're calling Series 2 this week. And I've also been made aware, because I was saying on Twitter that there was no pop star brackets female in the cast list this time, that Maisie Smith has in fact attempted pop star brackets female and dropped an album and a couple of moderately good singles in the past.
Yeah, attempted.
Oh, I'm just looking now. She's been listed from EastEnders. She last appeared in it. Well, she's been on and off since the last 10 years. So she's been in that since she was like.
She's literally a child of Albert Square, Elliot.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I guess, it's good that one pro is left, otherwise that partnership would be sorted, and I just could not deal with another just sickly sweet partnership like that again.
Something inappropriate will have to happen instead. Moving on. Jamie Lang of capitalism and reality TV fame.
Let's hope he doesn't fall downstairs this time.
Yes.
Didn't we just say everything about him last year? I'm so I've mustered all my excitement that I can for him last year. And now you're asking me to reboot that.
He feels about as relevant as clackers, Lolo balls, those ankle spinners. He feels like
Tamagotchi.
He feels like something that was quite big in the playground when I was a child, and a lot of stuff has happened since then, Jamie.
Yeah.
In fairness to him, he did set up Candy Kittens, which does make really nice vegan gummies.
Ooh.
So that is quite useful. It's like one useful thing.
Okay, he's done one useful thing.
Do you remember last year when they said? Do you remember last year when he broke his foot and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, it would be really nice if he came back next year, wouldn't it?" Then we all experienced 2020, and now we're just I have bigger things to I don't.
Jamie, we don't care.
I guess we'll find out how far he would have actually gone last year, because now it's obvious they're going to put OT back with him.
Is it though? Is it?
I'd be surprised they didn't. I'd be very surprised if they didn't.
Because it's like saying we do not think Jamie has any chance of winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we kind of said that last year, didn't we?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But he must have had some sort of lessons, even like before lockdown. He must have, just in case the offer came back.
What if they probably penciled him from last year?
What if he does his foot again?
I will laugh a lot.
Or something else.
He'll trip over the glittery biscuit prop and just go splat on his face, and I will laugh.
Tripping over the glittery biscuit sounds like a euphemism for being sick.
But if he does break something, they're not going to have anyone to replace him with, are they?
They must have somebody.
No, they must.
They must.
For the ability... I mean, the way they managed to drop the Smeg fridge in last year... they must have had people.
Historical note for people who didn't listen to Series 4, the ballroom dancing Smeg fridge was the winner, Kelvin Fletcher.
Thank you, I couldn't remember his name.
But there is always an Emmerdale or Hollyoaks actor keen for the work.
There were another 3 of them in The Wanted.
Exactly. And we were originally promised a Westlife, and that didn't happen.
Yes.
And I feel like they must have gone to a Wanted as default.
Or a drag race person.
No, but we really narrowly escaped there.
Yeah.
In further news on people who aren't Nicola Adams, it's Hervey. He's not supplied any vowels, so I've supplied him with a U and an E. He is our social media young person's celebrity who is giving the old pop star brackets male a game stab.
I've literally marked this as how long until we see him in Eurovision? Probably next year.
Oh
no! No,
or at least the national final.
We're not having a national final.
I thought we were reusing this year's.
Unconfirmed.
Yeah,
but yeah,
same song, but
was it in the WhatsApp chat that somebody said that Hervey has got a 3-date world tour planned for next year?
Yes, Vikki
that was me. He is going round pretty much. Well, one of them was Leeds Uni, and then he's doing 2 dates in Germany, and then one in the Netherlands. So Vikki, you can go watch and
he's going to Cologne, which is near where I'm moving to. I can catch it.
Well,
he's
I will say though,
but also those 2 really important tour stops, Cologne and Leeds Beckett University.
Yes.
Oh, Leeds Beckett.
Ooh, not well.
I did. It is. I looked at some of his stuff, and he's a decent singer. I'll give him that. But he has the same problem as me when I was 21. So he's 21, so I've just left uni. He looks like he's about to start year 9. He looks so young.
Yeah, he looks really young.
He looks like a child's walked onto the set.
And finally, in news about people who aren't Nicola Adams, it's Jackie Smith, who was Home Secretary in a distant political era when people resigned when they did stuff wrong. And she did definitely do stuff wrong. She was one of the ones that got by the expenses scandal.
It was more her husband, wasn't it?
She definitely got as well. Diane Abbott says she turned it down.
To be fair to Diane,
the tabloids can't be much worse to her, but they would try.
Yeah. The social media backlash of Diane, Diane can't walk out her own house without getting some sort of backlash. Of doing Strictly, I'm quite glad she dodged it then. But to be fair, I've just looked, and Jackie Smith did, vote to remain, and she was trying to push for a second referendum. So I like her for that. At least she sees some common sense in the world.
Yeah, but she's not an MP.
I don't think a working MP could do Strictly anymore.
I think I mentioned in the chat that I would be spitting tax if my sitting MP was fart-arsing about on Strictly.
Okay, essay question. Politicians on Strictly are bad for both Strictly and politics. Discuss.
Yes.
They are to people like us who love. They are to people like us who love dissecting Strictly, but I think to a wider audience who love, did you see Anne Widdecombe's Samba, and talk about it for 10 years' time? it probably gets strictly into the psyche of everyone. I don't know.
It does also allow some quite unpleasant people to launder their reputations into being associated more with a samba than with deeply regressive views on homosexuality.
Yes, I mean, no, I'm not going around saying, "Oh, cuddly old, I'm gonna come."
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, is that people who aren't paying attention just know her for cuddly old Anne Woodcombe from Strictly, not stood for the Brexit Party.
When she did Strictly, we sort of thought she was done with politics, and then she made this sort of aggressive, horrific return, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it all made it a bit different, like how I remember her.
Yeah, it does. It did get a lot worse post Strictly. But yeah, I guess we'll see what Jackie Smith gets up to. But now, in news for people about people who are Nicola Adams, and we called it. We called this
in January when she retired from boxing.
Was it maybe even like in the wrap-up episode of last season that we were like, we're going to have a same-sex partnership and it's going to be Nicola Adams?
We definitely talked about
it.
If it wasn't the wrap-up episode, it was definitely the one we did at the beginning of lockdown where we said there's going to be a same-sex partnership, and I confused Nicola Adams with Nicola Roberts by mistake.
Oh, God.
Somehow I said Nicola Roberts instead of Nicola Adams. I definitely meant Nicola Adams.
I might have even edited that out, Elliot, because I was so embarrassed for you.
But we said that because we learned about Ellie's Women in Powerful Suits mood board on Pinterest.
Yes! Well, I've also got now just a folder full of pictures of Nicola Adams in power suits. So... she's been on holiday in Mykonos. She's doing a lot of TikToks, which is excellent preparation for Strictly.
She's just coming for Herbie's fan base, isn't she now? Just go on TikTok.
Oh, poor Hervey. He's not even the best pop star brackets male.
No.
And the other one's from The Wanted.
It just makes me, bizarrely, he just makes me think of Melvin Dewey of the Dewey Decimal System, who did not believe in vowels, and so spelled his name Melvin. And he tried releasing a version of the Dewey Decimal System that was written in this newfangled, unnecessary vowel way, and it was not great. Also, he was a complete nutter, but, I'm a librarian, I have to deal with him.
But Nicola Adams, so Strictly basically was forced into this move after H from Steps was on Dancing on Ice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dancing with a guy. And so now we've got Nicola Adams dancing as a leader. And I think throughout the series, we're going to try and switch from boys and girls terminology to leader and follower terminology, because I think that's what's actually used. Elliot, am I right?
It's a bit... Yes and no. We kind of like to say it as I'm dancing boy and she's dancing girl. Just so that's when I'm dancing the boy set, she's dancing the girl set. But it's so common on my circuit. There's more all-lady partnerships than male-female because there's not enough boys. So my circuit, at least on the IDTA, set up this all-ladies. We've got competitions in the same age bracket. They compete against us. We had a couple from our school who won against the boy-girls as well. They were incredible. And we actually have an own league dedicated to same-sex partnerships. It's not a thing on our circuit. So everyone getting in a hoo-ha about it just needs to get over it.
Well, it tends to be people who like to get attention for themselves by making a fuss, who are loudly saying that they won't be watching Strictly because of all of the sin.
And then they still will.
Oh dear, I'm sure we'll miss them.
And by week 3 they're back.
Because how else will they be able to complain about it?
I think Nicola might be quite good. So in other Strictlies, the first same-sex partnership has tended to do pretty well. So we had Courtney Act dancing both as Courtney and as Shane.
Yeah.
In Australia. And then we also had 2 guys dancing in Norway last year. and I think Dancing with the Stars in Israel has had 2 ladies dancing together.
Yeah, I know of a couple in Norway, or maybe it was Denmark. I know they went on one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it proves it can be done well.
And in Ireland, they did on the Switch Up
Yes.
week. They had Emily
yes, they
and I
did.
can't remember the celebrity dancing together.
I think it was Lottie, and then they had Brian Dowling and Kai Widrington do a quick step, which was actually brilliant.
Oh.
That quick step.
And they did a similar thing in Ukraine on Switch Week as well.
Yes.
Oh yes, the homoerotic pasodoble, as we called it.
It was really good.
It was.
So who do we want Nicola to dance with?
Karen.
Katia.
Karen or Katya?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Katya's choreographic inventiveness, like, she can do entirely new things. And, like, Nicola is incredibly strong and powerful for her size. She's wee, but, like, very built. And so I would really like to see what Katya can come up with. But I think in terms of vibe, Karen would be an excellent shout.
Because the thing is, she's most likely to get Jeanette if we go on height, and that really wouldn't work. I'd find it really jarring,
No.
I think.
Jeanette and Nicola in terms of is not a vibe match.
No, it's
Yeah, no.
Disney and not Disney.
Disney and DreamWorks.
How tall is Hervey? Could Hervey
See,
dance?
I see Hervey with Jeanette.
Apparently he's
That's it.
5'10", though.
Really?
I'm literally looking at heights right now.
Very important list.
I know Jason's 6 foot, so that's like
Yeah.
Nadia or Luba. So I hope
Yeah.
he's good, just in case he gets Luba.
I love how we've gone just fluidly into discussing potential pairings. I want Bill Bailey to dance with somebody completely humorless who just won't understand why he's
me
famous.
me too.
Like
Nadia.
Nadia.
Diane or Nadia, yeah.
Oh,
actually.
bless.
I know, because I think Diane would learn to lean into it a bit and have fun with it. Nadia will just be clueless. And we'll just see that really, like, glassy smile. You know, like when David James was doing, like, his fake laughing and she just kept laughing at him.
Or what about
I
as
want-
like her first season, Nancy? That'd be so cute.
Oh, yes.
Aw. Oh, Nancy. I would love it for Nancy to get a partner, but obviously we are short on the ground with both celebs and weeks for the series to run. So obviously some people aren't getting a go this year.
Yeah. I would like to see Clara with someone like Gorka or Shivani. I think that could work. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think Clara and Giovanni, I don't know. Yeah. Who do you want Caroline with? Whichever one of Giovanni and Gorka is not with Clara.
Yeah.
I think Caroline could be really good in a sort of Pamela Stevenson sort of vibe. Because she has, like, not admitted, but, you know, she's talked freely about her, you know, stage schooly background. But I just got a feeling she wouldn't. She doesn't do much reality TV. I don't think she'd do something she'd be terrible at.
Yeah. Oh, maybe
She won't be taken for a ride.
Maybe Aliash then.
Yes. I think
She's
Elliot
about
should do a good job with her.
5'6".
But-
Who do you think's going to get Neil?
Oh.
Ooh. Maybe Maisie?
Yeah. I think, because obviously, actually,
But we need Johannes to have a partner as well.
I know.
This is so difficult.
no, I think.
So weird that we lost AJ, and now we've got, like, Maisie would be an AJ partner all
Yes.
the way,
Yeah.
but she's not there anymore. I mean, and we need also now, like, a female AJ equivalent for the younger men, like the Herveys of this world.
Like
We
Amy,
don't have
maybe.
Amy is
Don't-
not going to put up with any of Hervey's nonsense.
No.
Amy
I-
would squash him
I-
like a bug.
Well,
Maybe.
in terms of like YouTuber TikToker crossover, Diane and Hervey
Yes.
makes quite a lot of sense.
Although, does Joe want the contribution?
Yeah, they'll try and cause some sort of like drama between Joe and Hervey, and it would just it'd be pointless.
it would end up with, I don't know, celebrity boxing matches that don't happen or something. I don't understand fundamentally YouTube drama. And I think we've not really discussed anybody for JJ. Maybe Amy and JJ.
Amy.
Yeah, she's quite sort of.
The Scottish and the Welsh woman taking on the English.
Yeah,
there is that.
Yeah,
because Amy's not going to get Hurley because she had the young ringer last year, so she's had her turn.
Yeah.
I feel just a bit disappointed that OT is probably going to dance with Jamie. But never mind. Anyway, we'll see. We're not even sure if we're going to get a big match-up show. We're not even really sure what the format of Strictly is going to be. But
it's going to be like Blind Date, where they just have a sheet and they just lift it up, isn't it? And go, here's your partner.
God.
And have one of those hugs through the polythene sheet.
I mean...
Or you could put them into a bubble, get one of those giant bubble blowers and put them into symbolically a bubble. Anyway... Section 2. Who's in, who's out? So, during the Strictly closed season, we had some sad news. We had
news.
We had some news that long time, I don't know, we fought, we made up, we fought again, we made up, and then I think I blocked him. Kevin Clifton.
Rom-com protagonist?
Yeah, we were running bookstores next to each other and trying to date or something. So Kevin Clifton has finally left Strictly in search of a lucrative career in the West End.
Of where though?
Well, it wasn't. His timing was bad, and it's not funny that anybody's out of a job because of all of this. But Kevin,
Kind of is.
The fact that it happened to Kevin of all people from the cast.
Yeah, he is the only person with the sheer amount of hubris that it could have happened to. Although AJ did also leave looking for other opportunities, and this was
weird.
That was a weird one because he was announced, and then he said, "No, I'm not doing it." And I think everybody was expecting him to be announced for "I'm a Celebrity," and then they realised that "I'm a Celebrity" was definitely not going to happen in the normal way. And I believe they're going to be in a Welsh castle, so AJ might be getting something significantly different to what he bargained for out of his new career move.
I just love that statement from the BBC. Yeah, AJ's left. Good luck. Bye. It was very just he's left, done, moving on. It's something happened in that boardroom, which has caused an issue.
Have we got any other Strictly cast gossip going on?
When Bruno first said he might not be for the might not come back, the name of Cheryl being the judge, and I could have jumped out the window. No, that's worse than Alicia Dixon.
Cheryl's not even been on it.
Yeah, exactly. She did half a jive with Oti on The Greatest Dancer when they had that same-sex couple from Finland, and she wasn't bad, but good enough to give dancing critique. Not really.
Well, Neil's got a new girlfriend who's not Alex Scott.
Are we happy or sad about that?
Well, I'm happy that Neil's happy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Katya's been getting into crafts. She's been doing really strangely decorated denim jackets and giving them to people.
She had a regular slot on the Strictly Festival, Homefest.
Oh yes, and of course, during the early stages of lockdown, almost all of
the first 2 months or something.
Yeah, the first 2 months, the Strictly pros were all dancing every day. Joe and Diane were doing home exercises classes. Oti and Marius were dancing.
We did the home festival.
School, yeah.
This all feels like it was about 3 years ago now.
It really does.
Yeah, wow. The halcyon days of early lockdown, guys.
And then when it just couldn't get any weirder, when TV's up and running and everything again, Chris Ramsey becomes the one show host.
Yes.
Out of anyone from the cast last year, it was Chris Ramsey.
Well, look, right. So we traditionally divide the Strictly cast list up into where they come from, but I think it would be more honest and more telling if we divide the Strictly cast list up into what they want out of it. And like, a lot of people have said that they felt that the cast list was a little bit weird this year, and it wasn't until I looked at what people would probably be wanting out of it that I realised we had a category missing. There's nobody on Strictly this year who is looking to get themselves hired for a role in the West End Q1 2021. Normally that would give you your like slightly older female pop star who's looking to rebrand, your Louise, etc. And that would also give you the sort of the guy who's graduated out of Hollyoaks, doesn't mind taking his top off, and is about to play Sky. What's his name in Guys and Dolls? There's nobody who is wanting that out of Strictly this year, for the obvious reasons that nobody's going to be casting a new West End production first thing next year.
Could a Max Wanted technically want to go into the theatre? Or do you not sing? He does sing. That's his thing. Does he act?
We don't know. Well, he has acted. He
Glee.
has sung. But, yeah. That was part 2. Who's in, who's out. Part 3, just a little quick roundup of Strictly Round the World, because every other Strictly that is going on is dealing with the same kind of situation that we're dealing with, and some of them are much further through it than we are, and they may be giving us a preview of stuff that's about to come. So in Ukraine, I don't know if any of you have kept up with the Ukrainian Strictly, but they're 2 weeks in now. They've got the full live band spread out all the way across the stage. There's like less of them than normal. And they've got an audience in cabaret style at tables, and everybody's is masked.
Oh, nice.
Everyone's masked.
Everybody's masked, yeah. But they had an unfortunate incident during initial training where a contestant tested positive for the rona.
Oh.
But they dealt with it in this really creative way. They sent some nice cameras and her dance partner round to her house, and they just choreographed the first 2 weeks' dancers. First one was on her decking out of a back garden, and then the second one was in her kitchen. And they're just really nice, really inventive, really creative. There's no like medium-sized props or anything. It's just her actual kitchen.
Wholesome.
Wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's going on in Ukraine. They're like 3 weeks further on than us. Norway have just got going at the past weekend, and from the videos that I've seen, they've got sort of clever camera shots going on that are hiding the lack of an audience. And I couldn't work out whether it was my imagination or not, or if it was just a small number of people who were mic'd up. But I think they'd got fake crowd noise on, like the football.
Oh no.
No.
But did anyone see Britain's Got Talent over the weekend and
Yes.
how
Oh,
they
that
did
was
it?
creepy.
I was really
Odd.
confused as to how the music was, how the sound, of them watching was coming through, because were they all just like watching over Zoom or something?
They might even have been recorded.
Yeah, I think it was recorded. I just wasn't quite sure because like the audience were reacting to what was going on.
It's also just created this really weird voting format for the semi-finals this year, which I don't really like.
No.
So that's a bit odd. And a lot of people have compared it to Black Mirror when they had the talent show where it's just like a wall of pixelated faces. So we are slipping into
Very
the Black
true.
Mirror reality.
This whole last 6 months has been too Black Mirror.
Very weird. There are 2 nice little notes from Norwegian Strictly, though. Fred from Eurovision Public Vote Winners Kino is competing. There is literally nothing that man can't do. He had a little, the Sami traditional tunic that he always wears with the big belt.
Oh,
He had one of those made in black sequins.
Oh,
That
I want
sounds
to know if it's
amazing.
going to yoik.
So good, so good. The other excellent thing that they've got going on in Norway is that they've got Birgit Skarstein, who is a Paralympic cross-country skier and rower, who's also a wheelchair user and just an unbelievable badass. And she's dancing with a pro who is standing while she's seated. And they did a waltz to Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush's "Don't Give Up," and it was
I gotta watch that.
That sounds
exactly
amazing.
as sort of touching as you imagine.
Also, the Kenyo album is banging.
Oh yeah, Kaino's album, very good. It's called Octa. Germany finished their series during lockdown. Eurovision honk Luca Henney finished third, and they have the Strictly curse in Germany as well because he's now together with his pro partner.
Really? Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
Christina Luft.
Because he did have a girlfriend when he was on the show. Oh, that's bad. Oh dear.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
so Luca's got a new girlfriend. So the Strictly curse is not something that only happens in the UK. Ireland and Australia, you might remember they finished their series as early, but when I was looking up, I noted that Tristan McManus is a judge on Australian Strictly now.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
I knew he
Good on
moved
him.
out there, but I didn't know he was a judge. That's awesome.
Good for him.
Didn't Brendan used to be?
Oh.
Yes, until he got sacked.
Well, so Tristan is like a sort of dilute and juice Brendan, I guess.
Does Craig do anything with Australian Strictly?
He has done.
I think he used to. Like, when Strictly was taking off here, I think they called him in for a few series to get that one off the ground, and then he just focused on the
Because
UK.
I remember him talking about Courtney Act.
We talk about Dancing with the Stars lineup, please.
I was
Oh,
gonna say,
go on. I forget they do this in America, technically.
Yes.
Go on, Vicky.
Well, just the excitement of Carol Baskin and a really decent lineup of like people I've heard of, which to be honest is like my benchmark. Neve Shulman from Catfish, and I'm a big Catfish fan, so that's cool. And they've got another of Nadine Coyle's exes, Jessie Metcalf, and they have got Nelly, and there's other people as well that I knew.
Johnny Weir.
They have
is
gone
brilliant.
slightly more of a sort of a heroes of lockdown and viral content, really, haven't they?
They've also got Sky Jackson.
Someone's going to do Hot in Here, and I mean Nelly.
You can't dance to your own song. That's not a rule. That's not a rule that they have in America, is it?
I mean, I'm just thinking because of course I know it's not his song, but you know, Alfonso had the whole Fresh Prince thing.
Well, I mean, I think we can all agree that Johnny Weir is going to be iconic.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But Anne Hesh?
Yeah, they've got Jeannie Mai, who is a fabulous talk show host out there. She's very blunt and just very open about her family and her life in all aspects. So she's fabulous. So I don't know if she'll be great, but she'll be great TV.
And so is Bruno just staying in America for the duration then?
I think so.
Well, because once you leave, you can't go back in if you're going to Europe.
Oh yeah, they are actually all
Unless
trapped
you're like
over there.
Unless you're an actual American citizen, I think, and I don't think he is.
Oh, Bruno. Well, Bruno can zoom in. We've had some discussions previously about how Bruno's jokes will become new jokes if he does them over Zoom.
Yep.
And also importantly, we've got return of Artem and Gleb like together in the pro lineup in the US, which is good.
Oh.
The testosterone.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Crikey.
Well, we're not going to be running concurrently with a series of Drag Race this time. But yes, does anybody want to do a 3-word review of Canadian Drag Race?
Brooklyn Heights.
Woo! The correct
What's my name?
the correct 3 words. Okay, so let's leave it there, and we'll join you after we've got everything matched up, where everybody matched up, and then we'll make some deeply unwise predictions. We'll try and work out who's the no-hoper, but we're all massively attached to, and we will be here for the duration till Christmas, lockdown, no lockdown, or whatever. So let's try and close this podcast. This has been the Keep Dancing podcast, your unofficial guide to everything Strictly. And I have been joined tonight by Anne.
Bye.
Meg.
Good night.
Elliot.
Night, everybody.
Vikki.
Night.
And intermittently by Millie.